Heredity refers to the heritage passed down by our biological parents. That's why we look like them. More especially, it is a transmission of the traits from one generation to the next. These traits can be a blood type or a diseases or a behavioral. In an individual, these two copies or alleles are not necessarily identical. If the two copies of the genetic are identical, we say that the individual is homozygous for that genetic. If the two copies are different, the genetic is heterozygous. The alleles of the same genetic can have a dominant or recessive relationship with one another. If both alleles are different, heterozygous, and at least one of these two alleles is dominant, it is the dominant one that will be expressed. That will also observe as a trait in an individual. Conversely, a recessive allele, non-dominant, will not be expressed in an individual if both parents pass down the same allele or homozygote. As a result, even if recessive allele is present in a genotype, the genetic constitution of an individual, it will not be observable in the phenotype, the set of observable traits of an individual, if the other copy of the gene is dominant allele. During reproduction, the genes of biological parents combine to form a new unique individual.
The example of heredity is the physical trait. It is the characteristic of one physical makeup. For example, the identical twin. We know that identical twin has a lot of similarities, like their sex, their appearance, and also the identical twin has differences to distinguish them, like their hair color, their eye color, their height, their earlobes, their dimples, their left or right-handedness, their curly or their straight hair, their normal vision or simulated color blindness. By that, we can distinguish one of them. Another example of heredity is the predisposition to a medical condition. It is the genetic disorders. An increased risk of getting certain type of disease is also type of trait that can be passed down from parents to child. Some examples of these are albinism, Down syndrome, hemophilia, heart disease, cancer, and certain type of mental illness. Albinism. It is one of the medical conditions in heredity. For example, the parent must carry the albinism gene. When the child was born, there is a big possibility that he or she has a medical condition of the albinism. The albinism are people born without the usual pigment in their bodies. Their bodies aren't able to make a normal amount of melanin, the chemical that is responsible for eye, skin, and hair color. Most people with albinism have a very pale skin, hair, and eyes. For the summarization of this topic, heredity is the genetic explain why people are alike, why children resemble their parents, and why certain traits run in families. But equally important is the fact that genetics explains why individuals are different. The major biological advantage of sexual reproduction is that it ensures that no two individuals are alike in the total complement.